Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. Okay, so last week I was watching a couple tornado documentaries because we just moved to Oklahoma a couple months ago, and apparently I'm in Tornado Alley because I'm 45 miles outside of this place called Moore, Oklahoma, which is also apparently like the tornado capital like of the world. It gets big tornadoes more frequently than I guess anywhere else. Okay. And it said like anywhere in a 50-mile radius, this is Tornado Alley, and I'm 45 miles outside of this. So I thought it was pretty cool to watch a couple of documentaries. Now, when I was watching these documentaries, stay with me. This is going to go into what we're talking about today on things like this channel. I'm not a meteorologist or a tornado expert or anything like this, but do want to fit this in. Okay. So in Moore, Oklahoma, back in like 2013, there was like a F4, F5 tornado that was really, really devastating. Things crawling on me out here. It was devastating. Um, if I'm not mistaken, one even ran into like an elementary school. It was lots of loss, lots of damage, lots of trauma around this tornado, right? And then I'm pretty sure, if don't quote me here, but like 11 days later, there was one like right outside of town, like in a different town that was like also coming towards more. Nonetheless, I was looking up how tornadoes get started, right? Because it was extremely, extremely devastating. Right? And it says that, bear with me here, that weather needed for a tornado is warm, moist air near the ground, cold, dry air above, wind shears, a lifting mechanism like a cold front, dry line, or thunderstorm updraft, which pushes the warm, moist air upward as it rises. And this cools and condenses into clouds and storms. A supercell thunderstorm, the most violent tornadoes, come from supercells, rotating thunderstorms with a deep, persistent updraft called mesocyclone. How does it touch the ground? Horizontal rotation begins. Updraft tilts the rotation vertical. Rotation tightens and strengthens, a funnel cloud forms, and the tornado touches down. When the rotating column of air extends from the cloud's base all the way to the ground, often connections with a swirl of debris or dust on the surface, it officially becomes a tornado, wreaking havoc on everything and anything in its path. Okay. So the most fascinating part about this, now again, this was a devastating tornado. So nothing fascinating about anything I'm saying, but what I mean, like, the fascinating part of it to me was that like it just stopped. It just stopped. Like after it wreaked havoc, complete disruption of life, complete torment, like people in fear, some people even getting pulled into the tornado, um, people losing things in life, right? Like all these things going on in this tornado, and then it just stopped. It stopped when the weather conditions no longer permitted it, guys. It just stopped. Okay, so because I teach and I care about consciousness is the only reality, and I care about presence, and like I tend to see the world through this way. Um, it's become my life, right? I perceive things this way. I'm learning all these good things. I looked at it like what we do here, right? We get the perfect conditions for trauma, right? Like literally, like for our own tornadoes. We maybe had some type of upbringing. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we perceived something. But nonetheless, what we did is we started creating beliefs about self, things that we believed that we were. And we stayed lost in mind. And we like we're just going over like a tornado in our mind over and over and over about this and what's going to happen, and projecting onto the future in relation to what happened in the past, and staying on guard and trying to protect this little me identity that we believe that we are, wreaking havoc on ourselves and anyone in our path, all of our relationships, our work, our finance, everything. The tornado didn't have to unlearn what just happened. The tornado didn't have to like, oh hey, listen, maybe next time that, or maybe I need to watch a video on how to stop. No, it just ran out of what was fueling it. The weather conditions no longer permitted it. And to think, like I saw it on this documentary, like I can imagine what people were going through um, in this experience, but like for it to just spread like that, for there to be nothing in the clouds, come down, perfect weather conditions for this particular thing, wreak havoc, and then just stop, like nothing ever happened, and everyone left with all this to pick up and clean up. But it just stopped. Like I want to keep saying this. I hope this hits home. It just stopped, guys. It didn't have to unlearn anything. It didn't have to seek out something. We can just stop. You know, added on to this, there's a guy, U.G. Krishnamurti, not to be confused with Jiddu Krishnamurti, the guy I talk about sometimes. You know, the guy that says we don't fear the unknown, we fear the known coming to an end. But U.G. Krishnamurti, apparently he liked Jiddu, but Krishnamurti, but nonetheless, he had his own spiritual journey that he was on, right? And he was seeking enlightenment in his own journey. And what he came to is that he came to this realization that, like, holy, the seeker, like the spiritual seeker, is the greatest disguise that the ego ever wore. The spiritual seeker, thinking that there's something to find. In my own words here, he basically found out that that trying to do things with your mind is like the mind chasing its own tail. Right? Now, I don't care if you're on an SP journey, if you got some serious stuff going in relationships. I don't care if it's finances. I don't care if it's just life. It just feels like it's just been the same thing over and over again. And we're seeking change. What if you just stopped? Just stopped. All the incessant mind stuff, all the wreaking havoc on yourself and others, right? All this projection, because that's what's going to happen. Projection. You know, for people on the SP gig, it was Eckhart Tolle that said, if if we are feeling unease within self, we will unconsciously seek out a relationship, and then when we seek out this relationship and we find it, we're going to project this unease pretty much onto these people. That's all that happened, right? And again, causing this disruption, wreaking havoc on ourselves and a person that we say that we love, really only using them for our own perfect weather conditions to keep our mind-made self going. Because if we are not enough and not worthy and not complete as is, and we seek this out to be complete, right? Another disguise of the ego that someone's going to complete us. Then all that happens is our lovelessness is reflected. We're going to blame the other person for the stuff that was already inside of us before we even found them, and then find channels to make them change. To make them change so we finally feel enough and finally feel better about ourselves, but it's never going to work anyway. So how about we just stop seeking in general? What if there's nothing to find? What if Krishnamurti was right that the spiritual seeker, whether you found it through the SP gig, whether you found it through the whatever gig, whether it doesn't matter, the spiritual seeker, what if he's right that the spiritual seeker is the greatest disguise that the mind ever wore? Seems about right. I got a whole bunch of books, watched a whole bunch of videos I have, done a lot of things seeking, still not being enough, still trying to change other people, still projecting myself onto others, not knowing that there weren't any others. wreaking havoc on everyone in my path. And it had to have been them because I'm a spiritual seeker. I'm the good one, right? Now, guys, this mind-made self does not want to die off. And as long as you're giving it the perfect conditions of constantly believing in its stories, of not realizing that it's you, of constantly seeking, right? Constantly seeking, implying that there's still something missing in you. Trying to find it in the next teaching or another video or even something that I say. Implying that you don't already hold the answers within. And you keep giving it this perfect condition to just, instead of just stopping. As long as we believe there's something missing, there's going to be something missing. As long as we believe there's something to attain, then we're going to feel like there's something to attain, implying that something's missing. There's nothing to attain. UG Krishnamurti said that it wasn't like an awakening, that it was the end of illusion. There's something to awaken from. There's just an end into the illusion, a realization of this illusion, then putting an end to it. Now, of course, you can say that's an awakening, but I like the way he put that. It's an end to the illusion. We can't see clearly when we are wrapped up in these mind-made stories, fueling the mind-made self, projecting onto others, wreaking havoc, then trying to fix that. Oh my God, I got too carried away. I was so scared. I thought it was going to happen, and it happened. How do I fix it? Holy shit! And oh my God, okay, I got the person back now. Now I'm scared of losing them. What am I going to do? Um, is it already too late? Because I was thinking about it before, and I know about manifesting now. And because I know about manifesting, like I feel like I've created it. Like maybe it's an assumption of mine. Have I changed as much as I thought I've changed? In the tornado, in the tornado, giving it the perfect weather condition, giving it the perfect recipe for an F5, F4 in your own existence, and bringing other people into this mix. By the way, sucking them right up. You have to just stop. Like, just stop. Now, I'm not saying it's not challenging once we get started, right? Like to stop. But I am saying that's all that's required. I am saying that like it wreaked destruction, and it looked like it would never slow down with winds of 300 miles an hour and people's homes just being uprooted. All these different things, and then it just said, whew, weather cleared up. Maybe some rain, but like nothing had ever happened. Next day, sun was out. The day before, the day of this thing happening, the sun was out like it is right now. It was all good. Be aware of starting these tornadoes in the mind when the day is all good, and you see that one little weather condition coming in. Oh, what is so and so doing? Yeah, they said that. What do they mean by that? By the way, I didn't even think about it like that. What were they doing? How come they haven't talked? How come they haven't texted? Or the judgment starts on them or you, or because let's be real here. Once we start these tornadoes, we don't need anyone. We don't need anyone to be saying anything. We'll make shit up in our own head. We'll about self even, about how bad we are, right? How wrong we are, how poor me, and then we'll project that onto them. But we don't need anything. This is how it starts. And if we're not careful, we'll add some more conditions into it, and then it starts getting some traction, starts getting some momentum. And the next thing you know, we've created things destructive, like being destructive, that we say that we didn't want, and then we're like trying to play cleanup on it, when all we have to do is stop right now. Look around. Nothing is happening. If you're feeling like something is, what's going on in the mind? Nothing's happening. And to think that it's all to refuel a self that doesn't even exist, right? UG Krishnamurti also said that the self is memory. memory, things that we remember, and then think about them every day when there's nothing happening. And then we hold on to this self, and we fight for this self, and we project it onto others, including SPs, right? Include everyone, especially their family and the SP though. And we project this, and we keep this storm going, just in some form or another. It's neurotic, it's built on pain, and it's destructive. And at some point, we have to realize that this is destructive. Like, this is not like this. This is not me just out here shedding and spreading light to the world at this point. Like, I'm lost in mine. I'm scared. I'm projecting. I'm not comfortable. I'm not okay, and that's okay, right? That's okay. Don't. I also want to add, don't let manifestation content spiritually bypass you into places where you think, oh, I'm all good now. It's okay to set with it, and say, you know what, man, I'm just not okay right now. That's okay. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of acceptance, surrender, letting some things go, right? If you're really full, like really feeling pulled, um, in the sense of struggle and feeling heavy and not okay, like, you don't need to try to affirm your way out of that. Just because you recognize something's story, and you think that's how things work, doesn't mean that it feels like that in the moment. It's okay. Just be aware and say, listen, maybe I'm not okay right now, and that's okay. I can not be okay for a second. It's okay. Even though I'm okay, I'm not feeling like I'm okay. It's okay, and just sit with it. Let it, and start letting it go. Feel these emotions. Let them go. Don't let the manifestation world get you into ignoring maybe some underlying stuff while you're still suffering, but you think that you're not supposed to be suffering. I can tell you right now, I used to be in AA, and there's many people that drank and didn't come back into the rooms because they were like, man, I had this self-image though, I had this self-image that, everyone thought I was sober, but I was struggling inside, but I didn't want to say anything because everyone thought I was like, I knew what I was talking about. I knew I was sober, and thought I was sober. I was helping people, but I was dying inside, but I didn't want to come to help because I didn't want it to seem like I looked like I needed help. Like, if you need help, it's okay. But what's not okay is ignoring, because it's still it's destructive. It is destructive. Like, it's one thing to, like, when something doesn't matter too much to you, and and you see it and you say, oh, okay, that is what it is, and then actually it's going to be like this now. That's one thing. But when there's fear, and there's a lot of momentum, and there's a lot of pain, it needs to be seen, not ignored. And it doesn't mean that you are going to keep it, or that there's something wrong with you, or that you don't know about manifestation, or you're not whatever. But it does mean that you're hurting, and that you can acknowledge the pain, and then it'll start to leave. I also want you to be aware that not everybody has the exact same story that you may have. Pain is relative. The identifications are, like, what we believe are painful are relative, but still destructive. Right? Once we're identified with it, it doesn't matter. Like, the tornado has already begun. Whether it's small degree, large degree, whether it's F1 tornado where it just took out a couple things, or whether it's wreaking serious havoc. Either way, it's destructive, and you have to stop giving it the perfect weather conditions. And one of those perfect weather conditions is thinking that there's still something to attain. One of those perfect weather conditions is thinking that you're still not enough right here, right now, and that I just got to keep going a little bit, and once I get it, it's going to be all right. Something's like, but even if I'm feeling a lot better than I used to, there's just one more thing. There's Eckhart too that said, talked about enlightenment, and I'm pretty sure he probably even get on to me. Well, maybe not get on to me, but he might say, because I speak about enlightenment sometimes, and I say, but I'm not enlightened, and he would probably disagree because he said you already are, but you just, some Neville stuff, but you refuse to believe this reason it's not so, right? But no, he would basically say, like, but you are, like, and because he did say that enlightenment isn't something that you have to attain. It is something that you are. But the ego, the mind-made self, right, chasing its tail, that likes to chase its tail, that tries to fix the mind with the mind, that doesn't want that, right? It'll make you think that it's something that's over there that you have to attain. So that means I fell for it too, right? Like there's something you have to attain. That like things that if I gotta let go a little more, I gotta do this a little more. I gotta do this, and then I'll have it. Making enlightenment now the same thing that was, and now another thing to attain when it's something that there's nothing to attain, right? Um, there's something to seek, but it's a perfect weather condition. The ego thing loves manifestation content. That's why you see me kind of pulling back a little bit from it. Um, not that you're not going to get your stuff, trust me. But like, you know what I'm saying. It just loves the manifestation content and stuff because it's like it's still something to attain, still something to get, still something to focus on, still something that like, oh, something's missing. I gotta do this. I gotta do this now. Still seeking, still like trying to. I gotta let this go before this can happen, and change this belief before this can happen. A mind chasing its own tail that never wants to catch it. A mind trying to change itself that never wants to do that because then these mind-made identities can exist, right? So anyway, I'm trying to be clever here. If you've touched down, if your tornado has touched down, it's okay. Stop. Stop. Stop giving it the perfect conditions. Stop believing in its stories. Stop seeking for the love of you, right? Stop. Just stop. Put your hands up. Okay, I'm out. I'm not playing the game anymore. I don't want no more pain. I'm gonna exist peacefully. Mind comes in, but yeah, but what if you're not gonna get? Listen, I'm choosing peace right now, homie. Choosing peace right now. You've done enough. You've done enough, right? Um, I'll take it from here, right? But nah, guys, like it's not that serious, but it is serious. Like when you're in this pain, it feels real, and it feels like these things are true, and it feels like you're separate, and it feels like um, that things just aren't going your way, and it feels like like things are happening to you. I get it, and it's painful, and it feels real painful, and it'll keep doing that until you just stop, look around, and realize like, hey, I can breathe. It's all good. It's just this mind stuff. Stop giving it the perfect weather conditions. When you see another storm cell starting to form, you catch it. Oh, well, no, okay. No more stories. No more believing in stories. Nope, those are thoughts. Oh, I'm starting to get a little worked up. Tornado almost touched down, it seemed like, for a second. Ooh, I'm going to breathe into that. I'm going to breathe into that. Okay, I'm going to breathe into that. Okay. And if that doesn't work, then you need to stop, collaborate, and listen. Just kidding. I love you guys. I'll see you guys soon.